keep telling y'all, street ain't got no God. God do not look after street. Boosie really thought he wasn't going to jail for that pistol. I knew he was going. He going to jail. All that newborn baby. Boosie won't get to see that newborn baby till that baby be walking and talking. Boosie going to jail. Oh, Boosie, you done got too much. You done let these niggas play you two motherfuckers. This internet dumb and bitch. Say what Lil Tootie gonna do now? What Lil Tootie say? Listen, Vlad TV. Vlad post everybody going to jail but Boosie. Somebody tag Vlad TV.
Charleston White was celebrating you taking the plea deal. I think he even said he hopes you die in jail and stuff like that.
Yeah, I heard.
The biggest thing right now was that you actually accepted a plea deal for your federal gun case.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been fighting this thing from the very, very beginning?
I've been fighting for probably 3 years now, probably.
3 years.
Boosie might be staring down a 10-year federal sentence, and guess who wasted no time clowning him? Charleston White. The second news of Boosie's case hit the blogs. Charleston jumped on live acting like Christmas came early. He was cracking up, saying he always knew Boosie would end up locked up, bragging that he'd been waiting to celebrate this exact moment. Then he took it even further, saying he wouldn't care if Boosie never walked back out those prison gates. Now here's the twist. Boosie had already told fans earlier this month that he copped a plea deal because he was just exhausted from fighting this battle. He claimed it was the smartest move, even though the case had been dismissed once before.
This case has stopped me from traveling all across the world, so I just want to get it over with, and, accept my guilty plea. I'm ready to get over it.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
Just say a prayer for me. I just need prayer. I don't need nothing.
But prosecutors came back even harder in 2024, slapped him with new charges, and now the reality is looking like a possible decade behind bars. So while Boosie is out here posting emotional messages about trusting God and being completely worn down, Charleston White is online popping bottles like it's his birthday party. The disrespect is wild.
Going to jail! Oh, God! Oh, God is good. I keep telling y'all, street ain't got no God. God do not look after street. Boosie really thought he wasn't going to jail for that pistol. I knew he was going. He going to jail. All that newborn baby. Boosie won't get to see that newborn baby till that baby be walking and talking. Boosie going to jail!
For those who don't know, Boosie's legal problems have been dragging for years, but this gun case is the one that really cornered him. He got hit with being a felon in possession of a firearm, and everybody knows that's a charge almost impossible to shake off once the feds are on you. At first, it looked like he caught a break when the case was dismissed in 2023, and fans thought he was finally free to focus on his music and his family. But nah, by 2024, the feds came right back swinging harder than ever. The feds weren't playing. They came right back and re-indicted Boosie on the exact same charge, basically saying, nice try, but we're still coming for you. That's when Boosie finally broke down and grabbed the plea deal. He even went on X, admitting, I thought this case was over and I was gonna get on with my life, but God don't make mistakes and I'm tired of fighting. That post alone told fans everything. They weren't just watching another setback, they were watching the moment Boosie's past officially caught up with him. When the news dropped, his mentions blew up with support, but you could feel it. This wasn't the same fiery Boosie who used to troll, clap back, and flex online. This was a man sounding drained, almost broken. His words carried that mix of faith and surrender, like he was forcing himself to accept whatever comes next.
Feds picked it up.
Now, it was a state case. The feds came, picked it up. They had a ruling in the Supreme Court that went in my favor, and the case got dropped by the judge. The case got dropped.
And let's be real, people who followed Boosie since his Baton Rouge come up know he's been dodging chaos forever. Surviving street beefs, fighting off cases, battling health scares. He's been through it all. But this time it feels different. 10 years isn't just a slap on the wrist. That's a whole chapter of life gone, and the weight of that reality was heavy in every single word he typed. But while fans were rallying behind him, Charleston White was on the complete opposite vibe, smiling ear to ear on live. He basically bragged that he predicted this day would come. According to Charleston, he never once believed Boosie would dodge the feds this time. And now that the sentence is locked in, he's loving every second of rubbing it in. Charleston didn't just clown Boosie. He went so far as to say he hopes Boosie dies in jail. That's insane, even for Charleston. But then again, this is the same man who built his whole career being the loudest troll in hip-hop. The timing made it even colder. Boosie hadn't even had a chance to process his own sentencing before Charleston flipped it into a live comedy show for the internet. Now, everybody knows Charleston trolling ain't new, but when it comes to Boosie, it feels personal. Every single time Boosie catches a legal issue, Charleston is right there, front row, ready to roast. And fans are asking the real question: why does Charleston White hate Boosie this much? This ain't just random internet noise. Their beef goes way deeper, with roots that have been brewing for years.
In jail, waiting for the FBI to send me the right collar number, because I'm finna make a report on your mother and people. And you make the man call your name specifically. The promoter specifically said your mother name, Lil Boosie. He implemented you and implicated you. Finna go to jail, back to jail. You gonna be on your knees, but them knees gonna be bleeding again.
It all traces back to late 2022, when Kanye West lit the culture on fire with that White Lives Matter shirt. Boosie spoke out, saying Ye was disrespecting black people. And honestly, most folks sided with Boosie back then. But Charleston? Nope. He jumped online blasting Boosie just for speaking on Kanye, and that's when everything spiraled. Instead of just clapping back at Boosie, Charleston went left and dragged his family into it. He brought up Boosie's son, Tootie Raw, and even T.I.'s son, King Harris. Charleston called them ugly, said they couldn't fight, and even predicted they'd end up in jail. The disrespect was so wild, people knew right then this wasn't just trolling. Charleston had declared war. That's when folks realized Charleston wasn't your average troll. He was willing to hit below the belt, even dragging kids into the mess just to break their parents. The disrespect was on another level, and people couldn't believe how far he was willing to go. But what shocked everyone even more was how calm Boosie kept it. Instead of exploding the way the internet expected, he played it safe. During an interview with Tony the Closer, he explained straight up that running his mouth too much could easily land him behind bars, especially once somebody brought kids into it. So instead of snapping, Boosie kept his response measured, refusing to give Charleston the satisfaction. That alone told the world everything. Boosie wasn't scared of Charleston, but he knew exactly what Charleston was doing, baiting him into saying something reckless that could end up costing his freedom. On the outside, Boosie stayed calm, but behind the scenes, that tension was bubbling hotter than ever. By early 2023, things got way uglier. Charleston was already busy clowning T.I. over that infamous paperwork party when Boosie's son Tootie decided to clap back. He called Charleston old, messy, and even told him to go die. But Charleston being Charleston, he turned it up 10 notches. He hopped on live and said, "I hope your daddy die from that diabetes. I hope they don't send the insulin over 1 month. Who even talks like that?" Wishing death on Boosie just to get under his son's skin was beyond wild. And then, like the beef couldn't get any crazier, Tootie actually ended up arrested later that same month on gun charges. Charleston wasted no time popping up online, basically claiming credit like he somehow called it. The internet was stunned. This wasn't trolling anymore. This was war. Charleston White actually bragged about calling the cops, sending in pictures, tipping off the Department of Public Safety, and claiming he had his own hand in getting Boosie's son watched. He even went as far as saying the police were already on Tootie because Boosie was a 6-time convicted murderer who used kids to do his dirt. That's when everyone realized this wasn't trolling anymore. This was real-life damage Charleston was trying to cause. Not even 3 months later, Boosie himself got snatched up again in San Diego right after a court hearing, and Charleston wasted no time laughing about it. He jumped on Instagram Live, saying it was all God's plan, even comparing Boosie to Daniel in the lion's den, like prison was some kind of divine punishment sent his way. Charleston twisted Boosie's arrest into a full-on sermon, trying to make it sound like Boosie's pain was a lesson from above. Fans couldn't even tell if he was dead serious or just trolling harder than ever. But either way, the disrespect was crazy.
He brought you up because you were attacking Kanye because of the
Nah, it's Kanye West shit just happened. Nigga been coming at me. He been coming at me. It's just, you know, I can't respond to those people, bro. Like, that's a danger to what I got going on. You can't take no risk of losing this shit behind, you know.
Months later, Boosie finally addressed it on Vlad TV. He admitted straight up that he didn't even want Vlad giving Charleston a platform, especially after the wild things he said about Tootie. And once again, Boosie stressed he wasn't scared of Charleston. He was just focused on staying free and not falling into the trap. But still, even though he played it cool, you could see it. Charleston White was living rent-free in Boosie's head. The man couldn't escape the shadow of Charleston's antics, no matter how hard he tried. By early 2024, this beef had spilled all the way into internet culture. Aiden Ross was supposed to have Boosie on his stream, but Boosie didn't want to deal with Charleston's drama, so he passed. Next thing you know, Aiden flipped the script and claimed he turned Boosie down, all out of loyalty to Charleston White. That little lie blew up fast, and the internet ate it up until DJ Vlad stepped in, dragging Aiden for siding with a guy who literally praised Hitler and denied the Holocaust. That whole fiasco showed just how deep Charleston's shadow really stretched. Even young streamers were out here using his name like clout currency just to stir the pot. And Charleston, he wasn't slowing down one bit. By March, he was back online, claiming Boosie had allegedly warned promoters not to book him. He spun it into another rant, swearing he'd already contacted the feds and was ready to get Boosie locked up over what he called threats. And he didn't stop there. He dragged Boosie's health into it, throwing low blows just to make his insults cut deeper. At one point, he even went off swearing up and down he jammed Boosie up through the FBI. Once again, Charleston had zero proof, but it didn't matter. He said it loud enough, and people ran with it. Boosie himself later admitted that guys already locked up were calling him, asking when he was gonna join them. Imagine that, already carrying the weight of a possible federal sentence, and then hearing dudes on the inside clowning you before you even hit the yard. That's humiliation stacked on top of pain, and Charleston knows exactly how to twist that knife. Boosie didn't even push for a trial. He went straight for the plea deal. And honestly, can you blame him? Imagine if, by some wild twist, Charleston White had actually popped up in that courtroom. You already know he would have turned it into a full-blown circus, testifying, pointing fingers, and then sprinting to the blogs the second he stepped outside. And it's not even far-fetched, because Charleston has a long history of snitching, and he's never been shy about it. According to sources, back when he was just 14, Charleston was caught up in a robbery with some other teens. During that robbery, one of them, Antoine Doolittle, pulled the trigger and shot a man named Michael Levy. When it came time for court, Charleston testified against him. Now, in street code, that's unforgivable. Even though he was only a kid, people still drag him to this day for basically telling on his own crew. And Charleston, he doesn't hide from it. He's defended himself by saying, "I was young, I was in court, I told the truth." That's not snitching, that's survival. But here's where it got messy. Recently, footage from that old juvenile case resurfaced, and the internet went crazy. People started calling him a flat-out hypocrite, saying, "You can't preach about street code one day and then brag about testifying the next." That clip blew up, spreading everywhere as proof Charleston's whole image is built on contradictions. And instead of backing down, Charleston doubled down. He told everybody he's never lived by no street code and he doesn't care who's mad, which is wild, because he'll still call rappers rats, while proudly admitting he snitched himself. The internet couldn't believe the audacity. Charleston had once again turned shame into his own twisted badge of honor. So when you stack everything together, it's clear why Boosie decided to skip trial and grab that plea deal. The last thing he wanted was risking a courtroom where Charleston White might pop up and turn the whole thing into a circus. This is the same man who brags about calling cops, setting people up, and even proudly admits he testified back when he was a teen. If Charleston had even the slightest shot at being involved, you already know what would have gone down. Him pointing fingers in front of the jury, cracking jokes in the middle of testimony, and then hopping on live right after screaming, "I helped put Boosie away." That ain't imagination. That's exactly how Charleston operates. And that's why he's celebrating so hard right now. To Charleston, this isn't just Boosie getting caught up in another case. It's karma. It's proof that all his trolling, mocking, and so-called warnings finally came true. When you connect the dots, the beef starting back in 2022, the shots at Tootie, the arrests, the non-stop clowning, the snitch stories, it really feels like Charleston has been waiting, maybe even praying, for this exact moment where Boosie is staring at a possible 10 years behind bars. Right now, Boosie isn't locked up yet. But with that plea deal on the table, the reality is he could be headed for a full decade inside. Meanwhile, Charleston White is already clowning like he's the one who won the case and the streets are split. Some laughing, some waiting to see if the hammer really drops. But here's the part that stings the most. If Charleston is this loud, while Boosie is still technically free, just imagine the circus he's gonna create if Boosie actually gets sentenced. So what do you think? Is this the end of Boosie's run, or just another chapter in his wild story? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, share this with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one.